All right, so you're ready to record your first podcast. Do you have a microphone? Who's going to distribute for you? Do you have a studio? What about the editing? All right, everyone relax because I think I have the answer. Anchor app. Yeah, Anchor. It's free. They distribute Spotify, Apple, many more. There's creation tools that allow you to edit and create your podcast from your phone, your laptop, or your personal computer. And the best thing of all, girl, you can make money no matter how many listeners you have. So the answer is simple. Get Anchor. Anchor FM app. Go find it now. Tell them a seat at the table sent you. All right, let me get my life together here. Okay. I am so amazing. All right. Hello, you're tuned in to an all-new episode of A Seat at the Table podcast. Yes, there's always, sometimes even maybe, a seat for you. Sometimes. Okay. So anyways, right? I am your host, Gail. You can find us, The Seat at the Table Pod, all one word on Instagram. You can also find me on Twitter. You know, I gotta tell you, since the quarantine streets have been closed, I had like a moment where like my average usage. Now, for those of you who are iPhone users, you normally get your average use readout every week. For me, mine comes on Sunday morning. And on an average, it tells you how much hours you've spent in weekly activity on your iPhone. So for me, it's always interesting to see that kind of stuff, only because I would love to say that I am one of those so ever ready conscious people that during this time I have been reading books and learning different languages and blah da 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 da. But one of the things that I've really just been concentrating on is just, being more present and relaxing a little bit more, and really trying to align myself. And by that, because I know like we like to use these kind of words like my energy is so blah, 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 and I'm just going to align myself. But what I mean by that is aligning myself above me spiritually, and really what helps me the most with that is prayer and meditation. So on an average, and we'll double back around for what this has to do with screen time, but prayer, meditation, I'll get up early in the morning, grab a coffee, listen to something, whether it be gospel or, T.D. Jakes or Stephen Furtick or, Joel Osteen or listening to my favorite gospel station on Pandora, or, just sitting there and being still, during the time when everybody else is not up. I've been really trying to do a lot of that. So one way above me, that lines me up. And then just mentally and physically running and being more conscious of my thoughts, which is not easy. I think that we would all love to believe that we were always ever present. But at any rate, so with that said, I realized that my average screen time, this morning, my average screen time was down 63% from last week. And this week also, coincidentally, has been a really, just like a really even-keeled week. And I think a lot of that has a lot to do with, the aligning that I'm trying to do. So anyways, I'm so glad that you're here. If you're a first time listener, welcome. If you're a returning guest, welcome. If you're not sure what you are just yet, have a seat, cop a squat, pull up your coffee, your amaretto, your favorite Moscato, whatever you drink, nature's fruit punch, water, whatever you're into. Why am I giving you this voice? I'm not sure. So anyways, how are you? How are you? No, seriously, like how are you? Like I know that this is everything that's going on is just it's like all consuming in a way that is overwhelming, at least for me. I don't know. I struggle with how much to immerse myself in the process. So I don't know how you've been doing with that. Like, have you really been thinking about all of the things that, I don't know, if you're like me, you've probably been thinking about a lot of the stuff that will happen after this is all said and done. And I've definitely wondered what normal will actually look like when this is all said and done. I think a lot of us have the misnomer that we will return to life as is, but what I will say is that the sense of normalcy that is surrounded by people who I see out when I go to the store, or I went to Harlem yesterday and everyone had a mask on and everyone was, social distancing for the most part. Yeah. So I think what alarms me the most is just like anything like the movies. What will that experience be like? Will there be such a thing within your lifetime? Would you have seen the dissipation of things like the movies or concerts or festivals or church? You know what I mean? Like, is that all over now? I don't have the answers, I don't really know too many people who do. Do you live in a state where things are kind of opening back up? Well, for me, I am in New York City and we do not have an open date, whereas actual patient admissions into the hospitals have decreased. The amount of deaths have not. So we saw a slight jump in deaths over the weekend. I definitely get the feeling within the area that I live in that people are anxious about getting back out. People are probably tired at this point of being in. And people need money. I definitely feel an energy of anxiety around, will there be enough? How will I survive? And I think that that's what I'm scared of. Like, if we get into that mode where people feel like they now need to just survive, what is that going to mean? Here's an interesting question for you. Given everything that has happened in the state that you live in, think about that. Would you reelect your governor post this pandemic? So I'm from New York. So Andrew Cuomo, who is, brother of Chris Cuomo from CNN, formerly of ABC News, Good Morning America correspondent, ABC, Nightly News, what have you. But now on CNN. But Andrew Cuomo is our governor, and I would 100% reelect him. But I don't know about you and the state that you live in and what that has been like. So no shade, no tea to myself, but I came to several conclusions in the process of alignment this week. And here's one thing that I really try to be conscious of is how real I'm keeping it with myself on all levels. Like, bitch, like, because it's easy for us to watch Insecure and look at Molly and say, oh my God, all of the things that she's doing wrong, because we're seeing her story being told in a 3-dimensional view. Within our own personal lives, oftentimes we live in a 1-dimensional kind of sequence where we don't see the full picture. So we aren't able to see ourselves, like the beauty of your eyes is that you can see everything around you. The one flaw in your eye is that you just can't see yourself. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, I have always realized that I had a penchant for unavailable men. And I know that this is a testimony, so, girl. But I've always realized that I've had a penchant for unavailable men, and I know where it actually comes from through therapy and through self-actualization. I'm well aware of where it comes from. But I think a lot of times when you are, again, acting in a 1-dimensional kind of reality, which most of us do, very rare are we able to be so ever ready and so ever present, conscious that we are, acting from our conscious mind. So at any rate, I also realize that not only myself, but a lot of people around me, it is very difficult for people to a lot of times see the well that they drink from, the blessing of the well that they drink from in their own individual lives. So it's easy for me to look at your life and see the one thing that's going great, or the things that are going great for you, and size up your entire situation to such a perfunctory way that I am labeling your life as being great because you have a significant other, or because you collect a steady paycheck every 2 weeks, or because you are attractive, or because you've got a nice car, or because you have a house, or, I can take those instant snapshots of your life and really just size it up to be, your life is great, my life is shit. Right? And a lot of times, because I try to be conscious of, what is life trying to show me, I am oftentimes hyper observant of people around me, because I know that when they're doing certain things, or when certain situations are arising, they are arising not because I am just this little player in this game of life where things are just happening to me, but things are happening to me, for me, in order for me to see myself. So what I've realized this week is that I have a penchant for unavailable men, and I also sometimes perhaps lack the wherewithal when I am moving through life and I'm just saying things and I'm just talking and whatever the case is. Sometimes I lack the wherewithal to have the presence of mind enough to know, kind of be conscious of this action and the equal and or other reactions that should follow post your decision right now. Why am I telling you this? I am telling you this because, if you